Reach into your sewing kit, your pocket, or maybe a drawer cluttered with odds and ends. There, among the threads and buttons, you might find a safety pin, a tiny coil of wire with a guarded point. It's so ordinary, you'd hardly notice it. Yet this unassuming invention has mended lives, sparked rebellions, and quietly shaped the world. Welcome to Small Thing, Big Change. I'm Robert, and today we're pinning down the story of the safety pin, a small thing that's held together more than just fabric. From 19th-century workshops to wartime hospitals, from fashion runways to protest movements, this humble pin has left an indelible mark. Let's unlock its clasp and explore the quiet revolution of the safety pin. Segment 1. Before the safety pin, a world unfastened. In the early 1800s, fastening fabric was a precarious task. Imagine a seamstress mending a torn dress, her fingers pricked by straight pins that slipped and scattered. Straight pins, the go-to tool for centuries, were sharp, unreliable, and dangerous. They pierced through fabric but often fell out, leaving clothing unsecured or, worse, injuring the wearer. Mothers pinning cloth diapers on squirming babies risked accidental stabs. Sailors and soldiers, repairing sails or uniforms in the field, struggled with pins that bent or broke under pressure. Even in high society, women in elaborate gowns relied on fragile pins to hold delicate fabrics together, only to have them loosen during a dance or snag on a chair. This wasn't just a matter of inconvenience, it was a limitation on daily life. The Industrial Revolution was transforming the world, with steam engines and factories reshaping economies, but clothing and textiles lagged behind. Mending a tear or securing a hem was time-consuming, and mistakes could ruin expensive fabrics. For the working class, who often owned just one or two outfits, a lost pin could mean a day's wages spent on repairs. In rural areas, where sewing supplies were scarce, people resorted to thorns or makeshift ties, which were clumsy and ineffective. The need for a better fastener was urgent. Buttons were costly and required sewing, laces were slow, and hooks were prone to slipping. Inventors had been tinkering with solutions. Early patents for clasps and buckles appeared in the 1700s, but none were simple or safe enough for widespread use. The world craved a device that could secure fabric quickly, safely, and reliably, something that could withstand the rigors of daily life while being affordable for all. The stage was set for an invention that would seem trivial today but was revolutionary in its time, a small pin that could change everything. Segment 2. The birth of the safety pin. In 1849, a New York inventor named Walter Hunt changed the course of fastening history with a single, ingenious idea. Hunt, a prolific tinkerer known for his sewing machine designs, was reportedly fidgeting with a piece of wire one day, twisting it absent-mindedly. In a flash of inspiration, he bent the wire into a coiled spring with a shielded point, creating a fastener that could pierce fabric without endangering the user. He called it the safety pin and patented it that same year, describing it as a device to secure clothing without the risk of injury. Hunt's design was deceptively simple: a single piece of wire bent into a loop, with a spring mechanism to keep the pin closed and a clasp to cover the sharp point. Unlike straight pins, it wouldn't slip out or stab the user. It was reusable, portable, and required no tools. But Hunt's story has a bittersweet twist. He sold his patent for just $400 to pay off a debt, unaware that his invention would become a global phenomenon. The buyer, a company called WWII, saw its potential and began manufacturing it on a small scale. Crafting safety pins was a challenge in the 1840s. Early pins were hand-bent from brass or steel wire, a labor-intensive process that made them expensive. The Industrial Revolution's advances in metalworking, however, soon made mass production possible. By the 1860s, factories in England and the U.S. used automated machines to cut, bend, and temper wire, driving down costs. A single safety pin dropped to a fraction of a cent, making it accessible to seamstresses, tailors, and households alike. The safety pin's early adoption was swift but uneven. Wealthy households embraced it for sewing and dressmaking, while working-class families used it for everything from diapers to patching work clothes. Its versatility was its strength. It could hold a hem, secure a bandage, or even fish a key out of a tight spot. But skepticism lingered. Some tailors dismissed it as a gimmick, preferring traditional pins, and others worried about its durability. Yet its safety and simplicity won out, spreading from American workshops to European markets by the 1870s. The safety pin wasn't just a practical tool, it was a cultural shift. It empowered people to mend and create without fear, democratizing textile work. It also sparked debates about labor, as factory workers producing safety pins faced long hours and low wages. Hunt's invention, born from a moment of idle twisting, was poised to become a cornerstone of daily life, proving that the smallest ideas could have the greatest reach. Segment 3. The Safety Pin's Golden Age. By the late 19th century, the safety pin was a household staple, its impact rippling across industries and cultures. The rise of ready-to-wear clothing, fueled by sewing machines and mass production, made the safety pin indispensable. Factories churned out affordable garments, but they often needed minor adjustments, sagging hems, loose cuffs, or quick repairs. The safety pin was the perfect fix, used by tailors and homemakers alike to make clothing functional and personalized. In homes, the safety pin became a lifesaver. Mothers used it to fasten cloth diapers, a task that once required risky straight pins. The safety pin's shielded point meant no more accidental pricks, making parenting safer and less stressful. Farmers and laborers relied on it to patch overalls or secure tool belts, while travelers used it to mend torn luggage or pin money to clothing for safety. Its versatility earned it a place in every sewing kit, toolbox, and travel bag. The safety pin's influence extended to unexpected places. During the American Civil War, medics used safety pins to secure bandages in field hospitals, where speed and reliability were critical. Unlike thread, which required time-consuming stitches, safety pins allowed quick fixes under pressure. In the 1890s, cyclists, part of a growing fad, used safety pins to hold up baggy trousers, preventing them from catching in chains. This small act helped fuel the bicycle craze, which empowered women's mobility and influenced fashion trends like bloomers. The safety pin also found its way into early fashion. Designers used it as a temporary fastener during fittings, allowing quick adjustments to bespoke garments. By the early 1900s, companies like PRYM in Germany and WWII in England were producing millions of safety pins annually, with innovations like rust-resistant coatings and smaller sizes for delicate fabrics. These advancements made the safety pin a global commodity, exported to Asia, Africa, and South America. But its rise wasn't without flaws. Early safety pins could still jam or bend under stress, frustrating users. Mass production relied on exploited labor, with factory workers, often women and children, facing dangerous conditions to meet demand. The safety pin's affordability came at a human cost, a reminder that even the smallest innovations carry complex histories. By the 1920s, it was a symbol of practicality and ingenuity, stitching together the fabric of daily life across the globe. Segment 4. The safety pin as a symbol of resistance and resilience. The safety pin story takes a profound turn in the 20th century, when it became more than a fastener, it became a symbol. In the 1970s, the punk movement transformed the safety pin into an icon of rebellion. Punk rockers in London and New York, like those in bands such as the Sex Pistols, adorned their ripped clothing with safety pins, turning a practical tool into a statement against consumerism and conformity. Designers like Vivienne Westwood and Malcolm McLaren embraced this aesthetic, pinning torn jackets and T-shirts to create a raw, defiant look. The safety pin became a badge of outsider identity, a way to reclaim and repurpose the ordinary. This wasn't the safety pin's first brush with resistance. During World War II, it played a critical role in survival. In occupied Europe, resistance fighters used safety pins to secure secret messages inside clothing, evading Nazi searches. In concentration camps, prisoners used them to mend tattered garments, preserving dignity in dehumanizing conditions. Holocaust survivor stories recount how a single safety pin could hold together a patched blanket or secure a hidden note, small acts of defiance against oppression. The safety pin's symbolic power resurfaced in 2016, after the Brexit vote and the U.S. presidential election sparked fears of xenophobia. A grassroots movement in the UK and beyond encouraged people to wear safety pins on their clothing as a sign of solidarity with immigrants and marginalized groups. The pin signaled, "You are safe with me," a quiet gesture of unity in divisive times. Critics argued it was performative, but supporters saw it as a small, tangible way to foster community. In humanitarian contexts, the safety pin proved its worth. In refugee camps in Syria and Bangladesh, aid workers distributed safety pins with clothing kits, allowing families to mend garments or secure hijabs. During the 2010 Haiti earthquake, safety pins were used to fasten makeshift bandages and clothing, aiding relief efforts in chaotic conditions. These stories highlight the safety pin's role as a lifeline. Its simplicity made it a universal tool for resilience, from war zones to protest movements. Segment 5. The safety pin's modern legacy and future. Today, the safety pin remains a quiet but essential part of life, with billions produced annually by companies like PRYM and Dritz. Its design has barely changed since Walter Hunt's 1849 patent, a testament to its timeless ingenuity. Yet it continues to evolve. Modern safety pins come in plastic, stainless steel, and even biodegradable materials, addressing environmental concerns about metal mining and waste. Manufacturers are experimenting with ergonomic designs, like larger coils for easier handling or colorful coatings for aesthetic appeal. In fashion, the safety pin retains its edge. Designers like Versace and Balmain use oversized safety pins as statement pieces in haute couture, echoing the punk era's rebellious spirit. In 2017, Elizabeth Hurley wore a Versace dress held together by gold safety pins, reviving the iconic look from the 1990s. Meanwhile, fast fashion brands incorporate safety pins into affordable accessories, keeping them relevant for younger generations. The safety pin's utility shines in unexpected places. In medical settings, nurses use them to secure bandages or forelines when supplies run low, especially in under-resourced clinics. In developing regions, NGOs like Oxfam include safety pins in sewing kits distributed to women's cooperatives, empowering economic independence through textile work. In survival scenarios, safety pins are a staple in emergency kits, used for everything from fishing hooks to makeshift compasses. The digital age hasn't diminished the safety pin's relevance. While zippers and Velcro dominate modern clothing, the safety pin remains unmatched for quick fixes and versatility. Its cultural legacy endures, too. In 2020, artists used safety pins in installations to symbolize unity during global protests for racial justice. Looking ahead, sustainable innovations and 3D printed designs could redefine the safety pin, ensuring its place in a world increasingly focused on eco-conscious solutions. The safety pin's story is one of adaptability, proving that even the smallest tools can hold together a changing world. Closing. A pin that holds it all together. As we close the clasp on this story, let's reflect on the safety pin's quiet revolution. This tiny coil of wire has mended clothes, empowered rebels, and offered hope in the darkest moments. It's a reminder that the smallest things can hold the greatest meaning. This is Small Thing, Big Change, and I'm Robert. If the safety pin's journey inspired you, hit that like button, subscribe, and tell us in the comments, what's another everyday object you'd love us to explore? A coin, a spoon, a rubber band? Until next time, keep pinning together the pieces of our world.